The day where we make you much more efficient. How many of you have daily tasks that you do every single day that you would like to automate a little bit? Today's the day that we do that. So we all have systems in our lives. We all have systems. When you wake up in the morning, you have a system. During that system, you brush your teeth, you take a shower, you get dressed, you eat breakfast, whatever it may be. Today, we take the custom GPTs and we're going to systemize some of the things that you do in your business. So here's my question for you. Before we get into this, so that I can help you design this specifically for you guys, I want you to tell me, what are some of the things that you do in your business every day that you would like to automate? Emails. Like what?
Junk.
Getting rid of the junk email? Okay. Uh-oh, that's not working.
Subscribe to everything.
Okay, so trick number 1, thou shalt never unsubscribe. Did you know when you click the unsubscribe button, you've just let that company, whoever that scammer is, know that you have an operational email and it now gets sold on the dark web to everybody else? We don't you never unsubscribe. You simply block. You simply block and report it as spam. If you're unsubscribed, every unsubscribe click costs you about 100 emails, 100 more emails of spam every month. So look at the person sitting next to you and say, I will never unsubscribe again. Okay, that's rule number 1. So part of that problem solved. What else do we want to automate? What else do you guys do every day in your business? How many of you read the news in your business? You look at all, you get emails from different sources. You've got online magazines you read. So could we automate the news? Okay. All right, what else? Marketing? All right, like what? Social media posts? Okay. All right. What about you? What do we automate in the real estate business? CMAs? All right, we can do that. Okay. CMA is a competitive market analysis, by the way. Remember all that industry jargon we talked about last month, that if you're talking in your industry jargon and using acronyms, the average consumer doesn't know what you mean. So you have to be specific. Competitive market analysis is when a real estate agent figures out the range of value for your house and where to market it. What else? Is there anything else that's low-hanging fruit that we can do that you work with every day? Posts, like, so we got the social media. So newsletters. Oh, okay, got it. I like it. Okay. I think that'll give us 3 or 4 that we can start with. Does that work for you guys? All right. So let me show you. Take this with me so I know which one's working. So on the screen, I'm going to show you where you're going to find these custom GPTs first. Okay. If you look over here to the left-hand side, these are all of my custom GPTs. These are things that I have automated. So if you look at this, as we scroll down, you can see I have a ton of automation in here. Okay? Now, we've got different situations that we've done. I've got my blog writer that's right here. I've got disclosure of agency test questions that I write for different agents to use for their testing. I've got commercial real estate test questions that we write. All of these details are all built in, so they're literally one click. So for example, everybody see Brian's news here? This is my daily news tracker. So I'm going to click on here, and this is my tech news, and I'm just going to type go, and it's going to think for a minute or so. So you literally saw what I just did, right? I clicked on this link, I hit go, and it's working through getting ready to pull up all of the summaries of all of my news locations. So what I've done with this is I've basically created a command that we saved. Some of these prompts that you guys have written over the last 6 months, some of these prompts can now be loaded in as custom GPTs, and now they can be repetitive. So you don't have to copy and paste the prompt over and over again. We're literally going to save it, okay? So what it's doing, it's saying, okay, I'm going to gather all of this information from the daily tech news, and then I'm going to give you bullet points to post on your social media. Then I'm going to give you a blog that you can literally copy and paste. And then we're going to go into Gemini AI from Google, and we're going to create photos and visuals that support that information. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So again, lots of different things. Now you can see this is extensive. So what I usually do is I go into my computer first thing in the morning, I hit go on this, and I go down and brush my teeth, and then I come back upstairs. A couple minutes later, it's ready to go. So it does take some time to put all this together because this is a complicated procedural process, okay? But the key here is we're automating to save time. How long would it take me to read all of these news articles from the last 7 days and then decide what I wanted to post? Make sense? Easily a couple of hours. Couple of hours a day. So couple of hours a day, 5 days a week, that's 10 hours a week, times 50 weeks a year, that's 500 hours that you're saving by taking a couple of hours to create a custom GPT. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Okay? That's why this focal point. So as you can see here, it pulls up all of these details. Here's the OpenAI summary, here's the Anthropic summary, here's the Google summary, here's the Meta summary. Here's my blog, and it's ready to go. I can literally copy and paste that blog, and I'm finished. If I wanted to, I could load that blog into Google and do the Gemini, which is my second favorite artificial intelligence, by the way. Load it into Gemini and say, pull up keywords or create this blog as a keyword indicator for me for search engine optimization and artificial intelligence optimization.
Oh, nice.
Make sense?
Gemini does that?
Gemini will do that for you. And because it's a Google product, who knows Google products better than anybody else? Google does. By the way, new algorithmic tip for you. Remember when we talked about recording the YouTube short videos for your YouTube channel? So Google just announced on March 1st that they're going to be using shorts as a source for artificial intelligence information. So it will analyze your short with the details on it. It creates a transcript basically and creates a crawler. So one of the things you can do, I'll throw this out to you. There's an AI software called Descript. You throw your video into it and it gives you a transcript, and you can download the transcript as a Word doc. Put that Word doc into the description of your YouTube videos. So it's the same thing that news media does. If you look at CNN or Fox News, they have the video of the report, but underneath it, they literally have the teleprompter script that the anchors are reading on the TV. Make sense? So this is the whole goal. All of this, how long would it have taken me to do this 3 years ago? All day, easily. Do you know how long it takes newspaper reporters to research and gather information and have 4 or 5 articles ready for tomorrow?
A week.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Now with artificial intelligence, you can do the same thing that the news reporter does, and it takes less than 5 minutes, especially when you program it. Everybody cool? You understand the concept here? So now let's talk about how we create it. Because everybody can use news in their industry. So my question to you is, what do you normally read? I want you to take a moment and write down which websites you typically read on a regular basis. And I'm hoping that you have at least 5 or 6 of them. By the way, one of the greatest places in the world to go for news recaps is actually X on Twitter. So let me open up another box here. So on my Twitter account, so I have lists right here. So I have my real estate list of real estate news that I follow. I have my artificial intelligence list. Then I have my most important one, my NCAA baseball list. Okay? So if I pull up my real estate list, this is everybody that I'm following in the real estate business, and I can gather all of my news in about 5 minutes if I actually want to read through these. So all of these places that you're seeing, Patrick DeHaan, Housing Wire, Inman News, RenMac, Renaissance Macro Research, the KCM Crew, Housing Wire, all of these locations where I'm getting information from on this list is exactly what I'm going to reference in the custom GPT. So this is where I get my news articles from. Are you with me? Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to our ChatGPT here. When you scroll down underneath GPTs is something that says Explore GPTs. Does everybody see that on your screen? Please click on Explore GPTs and your screen should look similar to this. Now, in these GPTs, there's a lot of things that already exist that other people have created. I don't want you to explore them right now, because otherwise we'll go down a rabbit hole with everybody saying, oh, this is cool, look what I found. Oh, this is cool, look what I found, and I lose total control of the class today. Make sense? So here's what we're going to do. If you'll notice in the top right-hand corner where it says My GPTs and Create, everybody see that? I want you to click Create. And you should be on a screen that now looks like this. So raise your hand when you get there. Give me a thumbs up when you get there. You there?
I'm in Explore. What is that?
It's click on Explore GPTs. Let's see, I've never done this on the mobile device, so bear with me here. Explore GPTs. That's not finding anything.
Yeah, I don't hold with class. It's only on the laptop.
Yeah, let's see. See more. Yeah, I'm not sure where the create is on this. I'm sorry about that. Did anybody else find it on the mobile device where it says create?
I have mine on my iPad, but I don't see it.
Okay, GPTs. Explore GPTs.
Did you find it?
Yeah.
I go too far.
Did you, are you on, you're on the desktop. Yeah, see, I've never done it on the mobile device. I don't know what to tell you, Jamie, I'm sorry. So just yeah, those of you that are on a mobile device, I'm very sorry. I've never created a custom GPT.
You use ChatGPT to ask it, where do you find it?
It might work. Where do I find on a mobile device? Where do I find the create mode for a custom GPT? So, all right, I got to keep moving. So I apologize, gang. So what we're looking at here on this screen is your page that's going to create the custom GPT. So we're going to start by naming it over here on the left side, and we're just going to name this Daily News, and I put 2026 in it just so that when we get to next year, if I want to update it, I'll update it as a different version, okay? and then we're going to give it a description. Daily news on real estate. So I'm going to pull this up. Now, once we hit this, this is your instructions. This is your instructions. All this is a prompt that you're using over and over again. That's all the custom GPT is. It's the same prompt used over and over and over. So what we're going to do in here, it's going to be quite simple. Research the news from the following websites and give me a summary in bullet point form to use for my social media. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to do a couple of these. We'll do Housing Wire. So all I'm going to do is copy and paste this link into the GPT. And then we'll use Mortgage News Daily. So we copy that. And we'll just do the two of those for right now. Once completed, write a 250 to 300 word blog summarizing the news. Now, that's the basics of the prompt, but we're not done yet. Because now we go back into everything that we've learned in the... Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Mine doesn't want to do the customization with the prompt. I mean, I don't know why
What are we doing here?
it's asking me like, what do I want to create? And I just wrote randomly create the custom GPT, but it's
Okay, hold on a minute. Let's go back here. Explore GPTs. Create.
and it's giving me.
What in the world is this? Configure.
Okay.
There we go. You were on create rather than configure. We want to make sure you're on configure. Yep, no problem. All right.
Upload the websites in there.
All I'm doing is copy and pasting the links.
Oh, in there.
Yeah, I'm literally going to the web, copy paste whatever websites you want to use. All right, everybody cool? Did you guys figure out? Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry.
I did find something here. I just pulled up mine on this. And if I go right there, it'll find create on mobile.
Are you on
It's
iPhone or are you on Android?
It's an Android.
Yes, that's Android. This is an iPhone or an iProduct. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we've got our websites that we're finding. We've given it the basic outline. Now you can go back to everything that we've learned previously. Anybody remember when we talked about semantic chunking in order to make your website the source for information? Okay, so at the end of this blog, watch what we do here. Once the blog is written, create a FAQ for the subject matter for an additional post. And then in Conversation Starter, I'm just going to say type go to begin. And that's all we're going to do. That's all we're going to do. Nice and simple, nothing funky here. So once completed, write a 250 to 300 word blog summarizing the news. Once the blog is written, create an FAQ for the subject matter for an additional post. Why do we want the FAQ? Think back to previous classes. What's the importance of the FAQ?
Our is got connected to our business page and
It is, but where's the information going to from the FAQ? It's going to Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant. So if somebody goes to their Alexa and says, hey Alexa, who's the best real estate agent in Franklin County? We want it to find us, and it's done with the FAQs. That's typically where Alexa and Siri find information. Now Siri uses a lot of Wikipedia entries, which your high school English teacher and your college professor would tell you that is not a source. But the sources are getting better from that, although it's easily hackable. Everybody cool? Now, if you have legal stuff that you have to deal with, so for example, my wife works for Edward Jones, and so they have certain rules about what they are allowed to post, what they aren't allowed to post. So we create this upload files button. We created a document with all of their rules for social media so that she doesn't violate any of those rules. You can do that if you need to. So if you're dealing with FINRA or FinCEN, whatever they are, with all of the different rules and regulations out there, this is where you can upload those documents so they don't contradict the rules and regulations of your industry. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to keep this as simple as possible because even in its most simple form, this is going to save us a ton of time. Okay? The last thing we do, you can go up here to the plus sign and you can put in your logo or whatever identifying GIF. You can do a JPEG, you can do a PNG photo. I literally go to Gemini and say create here's the information, create a featured photo based on this subject and make it a circle. Boom, I load it in, it's ready to go. Okay? You guys see the concept? All right, so now here's what we're going to do. We got everything typed in. Make sure I haven't missed anything at the bottom. Capabilities. I forgot about this. Capabilities down at the bottom. We want it to be able to do a web search. We want it to be able to canvas information. If you ask for it to create an image for you, you need to give it permission for image generation. And then you should never need this unless you're a code writer. If you're doing websites and high-tech stuff, then you don't need the code interpreter and data analysis. Okay? So we finish up here, we click Create. Then we have to choose who can see it. All right? I do anyone with the link because I share these with students sometimes. And we click Save. And it's going to go through the process of saving this. Oh, it violates use of make need content for previous authorization. I'm not sure what this is doing. What have I done that it does not like here? Let's see.
government took over and ruined it.
No kidding. Here, let's go back to the one. So here is the one. Here's my daily real estate news one. I'll show you what I did here. By the way, once you get it typed in, if you click up here at the top left, this is where you edit the GPT once it's already in there. Everybody look up for a second. Look up for a second. So we're right here. We're in the top left corner. We click here and click Edit GPT. I can now go into this one. And so here's where I've got my large one. Create a 40 to 60 word summary using the following information in the blog to use the Google profile.
I found it.
Did you find it?
You have to go through the browser. You can't use your app.
Ah, gotcha.
It's right there when you do the browser.
All right, very good. Thank you for the info. So again, this is the GPT once it's been created. All right? All I have to do here at the bottom, and this is my more detailed one, by the way, is type go, and I'm getting ready to get real estate information from 30 different websites. The daily news application, I'm not sure why it kicked into the violation of policies. I'm not sure what I did there on that, especially with such a short prompt. So, but the key here is understanding how to create these and then practicing with it, folks. This is the one, again, if you spend 2 or 3 hours this week working on this and it saves you 500 hours over the next year, is that a time trade that you're willing to do? Make sense? Okay, so let's talk about newsletters. I can do the same thing with this information, and I can literally, instead of asking it to write a blog, I can ask it to create a newsletter from all of those articles that I can email to my clients. And it's literally just copy and paste. It's literally copy and paste. Because you're taking the data that you're using already and you're just repurposing. Folks, do you remember, how many of you were here for the very first class? Anybody remember was sitting in that class? So, does anybody remember what I said the most valuable commodity in business today is?
Personal data.
Data. Data. Everything that we're doing at this point, after 6 months of training in here, is managing data and packaging the data for consumer use. Remember last month when I taught you about using jargon in your business and the fact that when you use acronyms in your business, nobody in the consumer world understands what that means unless they are more in depth. So you have to speak to the consumer in a manner in which they understand. So maybe you have a definition of all of your acronyms as part of your data sheet down here at and when you're uploading this, and you've got that as your focal point. So if I'm in the real estate business, I've got the WWREA, which is the Working with Real Estate Agents disclosure. It's the very first disclosure we have to make to a client. I have a CMA, the Competitive Market Analysis. I have the DDRA, which is the Due Diligence Repair and Addendum. I've got all of these acronyms in the real estate business, the RPODs, the MOG, et cetera. I can create a definitions page of those. By the way, wouldn't a definitions page be a very good blog post for your business? Mm-hmm. So that if people say, if you don't understand some of these terms, click here. And by the way, every one of those terms in your business becomes a blog post. Because you talk about the specific definition of what it is, then you define how it applies, and then you do a case study using it. That's 3 separate blogs on everything, folks. Make sense? So what we've done is expanded your content. By expanding your content, we have made your footprint bigger, and we have made your trust and knowledge ability better in social or search engine optimization and artificial intelligence optimization. And now when people ask questions in your local market about your business, they find you in the knowledge panel on the right-hand side when the AI summary pops up. Are you guys following what I'm talking about here? If you're not, please let me know, because we got to make sure you understand. We literally have been teaching you what, why, and how for 6 months. I don't want you going out of here today missing this one, because everything that we've done for the last 5 months up until today has been building towards this. This is the value of of the time you have spent here. How much an hour? How much money an hour do you charge people? $200 an hour. So pull out your calculator on your phone and multiply 200 an hour times 500 hours in 2026. $100,000. This is a $100,000 lesson, folks. Or some of y'all are sitting there like baby birds waiting on a worm. Do you hear what I'm saying? Because here's the problem. Here's the bad part of all of this. Many of you are going to go home today. You might try to play with this afternoon for a couple of minutes. It's not successful on the first try, 15 to 20 minutes in, and you quit. That's what the average person does.
He's forgotten.
And they'll never do it again. They'll never think about it again. All of this stuff that we've worked on is going to go by the wayside, and if you ever decide to get back into it 6 months later, you're going to go, well, I'll just have to take Brian's AI boot camp again.
It's obsolete.
Correct. If you don't do this on a consistent basis, think about it. If you took 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week, working on custom GPTs that energize your business and make you more efficient, how valuable does that become in your income stream? Folks, how many of you have been told by your company or in your training, you have to lead generate? You have to lead generate for the next piece of business. What's the most valuable thing in any business?
Leads.
A face-to-face communication with the next person to work with you. Second one is voice-to-voice. Third one is email-to-email. Jamie?
As they say, you're only as good as your last client.
Jamie says you're only as good as your last client. Yes, sir.
The question, normally when you do prompts, it doesn't, sometimes the first time doesn't come out the way you want.
Yeah.
You do it iterative, back and forth until it gets, with the instructions here, you put your instructions in, it doesn't come out. And you prompt it to make modifications to your own how does that work?
Yeah, so all I did with this, what all of these custom GPTs are, so his question is, can I edit the prompts in the custom GPTs? The answer is absolutely. However, what I typically do, my process, which by the way, the process makes a difference in the outcome, I start out with a Word document, writing out what I want. I copy and paste it into a prompt. If I don't get what I want, I alter the prompt, open up a new chat, and do it again. And then when the prompt is correct, now I copy and paste it and save it as a custom GPT, so it's repetitive over and over again. You follow me?
Yes.
That's where the key here, folks. See, you guys thought I was teaching you how to write prompts. I was teaching you layers of how to write custom GPTs. Because the detailed prompts become the custom GPT. It's the step-by-step formatting. Yes, sir?
Can you go back, not that you do it now, I'm just saying, in each one of those prompts you have on the left-hand side, there's
Yes.
GPT. Can you actually go back and edit those?
Yes.
Anytime as well, so you can change the...
So let's just look at this one. So this is a custom prompt right here. You see all of the output that it's given me. Okay, it's given me the Google Business Profile, 40 to 60 words. So I remember the Google Business Profile updates we talked about. Treat your Google Business Profile as a social media page that you post to a minimum of once a week. So if I want to adjust this, all I do is go up to the title, Daily News, click on this and click Edit GPT. I get back in here, and here's my instructions. I can change that at any time. And all I have to do is change what I want here and click Update, and it's saved.
Does it also change the heading as well?
Change the heading of the GPT? No, it does not change it. It remains Daily Real Estate News.
Okay.
See, this, folks, I really, really, really hope you get what we've just taught you.
So you can give this to, like, my daughter's working for me now. I can say, here you go, do these for me.
Uh-huh.
And it's done, and it's like I did.
And it's less than a half hour. So couple of little secrets. Couple of little secrets about the output. When I do my blog, I like my blogs to look like news articles. Remember when I told you I grew up in a newspaper family? I don't want it to sound like a New Yorker magazine article with a lot of fluff in it. I want news, news, news. I don't want a lot of BS in it. It's not a high school essay that you're writing for your English teacher where you're BSing your way for 2 pages and giving the answer in 1 line. See, you're all laughing because that's what we used to do. What I want is I want solid information. So I always close out my output. Remember the output in the prompt profile. The output is always in AP style on an 8th grade level. But I have that programmed in at the very bottom down here in my customizations, not in the custom prompt. That's down here. So everything that I do is in AP style on an 8th grade level unless I direct it otherwise. Now I do have one custom GPT that what it does, it actually looks for resource papers from across the country, because did you know that doctoral candidates and master's candidates upload their thesis and their dissertations online now, and they're publicly available websites, which means now I can go crawling through all of that information and look for them, reference them in my output, and now I have a bibliography. There's all sorts of things that you can do with this. You had a question, I cut you off.
Kim had mentioned junk email. Can this program reach out to your emails and stuff like it? And how safe would that be? I mean, go into my finance. I don't know, there might be limits to what you want AI to do.
Yes, great question. So his question is about how much access do we give it to our information? So here's a real world scenario from a Facebook employee about 3 weeks ago. How many of you have heard of Claudebot? Okay, there's a whole bunch of new Claude software that's coming out that they've released. Claude is the Anthropic version of OpenAI's ChatGPT. It's similar product, different company. It's kind of so the GPTs are the tissue paper, Claude is Puffs, and OpenAI is Kleenex. Make sense? That's the best way to describe it. But their protocols are a little bit different. But this Facebook employee gave Claude access to her email. It's called the agentic version. And basically you're giving it permission to log in on your behalf. Well, it erased 200 emails that she was saving in order to get back to them. Guess what she did the following day? She removed its access from her email. I'm not a fan of automation. Okay, kind of like what we were talking about with Kim. I'd rather teach you how to mess with junk mail rather than, you've already got, if you're in the Google platform or the Outlook platform, it can already identify junk and spam for you and move it to a different folder. That's what we do every day when we block someone. It automatically moves it to a different folder. You think it's not there, but it's actually just in a different folder. It's still coming through their system. It's just not being responded to, and it's kind of like when your money goes into your bank account, but you've already spent it. Works the same way. You never see it because it's already gone. So that's why you don't want to overemphasize the automation. Remember what we said last time. If you put automation between you and the consumer, you are writing your own business death certificate. So I am not a fan of agentic artificial intelligence, flat out, period. And I know that there are some higher tech guys that say, well, it can be done safely. Maybe so, but not by people like me. Because if we open up everything, think about it. If you let that Claude flow into your computer and you save somewhere on your computer, you've saved, your bank account statements, your credit card bills. I now have everything that I need to duplicate your profile and use your credit report to gather anything and everything that I need. And people say, well, yeah, but the likelihood of that happening is, but folks, I had that happen to me 25 years ago, and it was $35,000 in attorney's fees just to get all that stuff off my credit report. My credit report is locked down at this point. I froze my credit. The only time I unfreeze my credit is if I need to apply for a new loan on the house, or if I want to buy a car or something like that and leverage the money. Other than that, I lock down my credit and freeze it so nobody can get into it. You have to protect yourself in this day and age, folks, because all of this technology, I can spy on you with this. I literally have a custom GPT that I've written that I will not release to the public, because what it does is it says, okay, if the first question it's asked is, who is your number one competition in your business? And it finds that person online, it looks at all of their social media, it looks at all of their websites, every reference of that person in a news article or a magazine article or anywhere on the web, it gathers all of that information, and then it tells me what I need to do to beat you. Can you imagine what would happen if I released that to the public? Now, I use it for my consulting business. When I'm working with a small business, we use that to help them identify where their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. If you're familiar with the SWOT analysis, SWOT. You could do your own SWOT analysis. A simple custom GPT you could write for yourself is do a SWOT analysis on my business. Here's my website. Here's all of my social media pages. Here's my YouTube channel. Here's my Google business profile. And you click on that button once a month and you see how you're improving. That's where the repetitiveness comes in. How many of you have written a business plan annually? Could you put the instructions for your annual business plan into a custom GPT, upload the results from last year, and say, based on the last couple of years, analyze this and give me a business plan for how to improve my business and get me to a goal of X? It'll do it for you. For real estate agents, create your marketing plan. Whatever you present in your listing presentation, put that together into a custom GPT and say, using this information and managing all of my websites, what's the best way to market? Write me 3 social media posts for Instagram, 1 LinkedIn article, etc. By the way, couple of little snazzy tips that I've learned in the past couple of months that I didn't know when we started teaching this class. This is not anywhere in any of our notes, so you may want to write this down. When you post your blog on your website, upload the text from that blog into ChatGPT and say, rewrite this as a LinkedIn article, and then post it as a LinkedIn article rather than just simply posting the blog to LinkedIn. Because see, if you just post a link to the blog, LinkedIn doesn't run you up the algorithm as quickly. But if you actually write a LinkedIn article and you have supporting documentation, photos, graphs, etc., that's always a bonus. And by the way, on your blog, you should also have a link to About the Author. About the author, and then put a link to your profile page on your website. That's always the easiest internal link you can have for search engine optimization and artificial intelligence optimization.
Can you say that again?
So at the bottom of every blog that you write, you have a spot that says About the Author. And at the bottom of it, it's just a quick summary. Brian Pate is as a speaker, instructor, trainer, and coach in the real estate business. And then you have a link to where it goes to the About Me page of my website.
So you put a hyperlink in there, do you?
I do. Why do I do that? Because for your blog, in order for it to be SEO and AIO optimized, you have to have an internal link and an external link. So if I'm in my blog and I reference the National Association of Realtors, I put a link to the National Association of Realtors homepage. That's an outbound link. And my About the Author link is an inbound link because it's on the same website. Imagine this. Imagine, so my website for my real estate company is paterealty.com. So when I post a blog post on paterealty.com, I will often reference another article from brianpateseminars.com. That's an outbound link. And then I have About the Author at the bottom, and that's an inbound link, or it goes to another one of my blog articles on a similar topic. So that gives me my outbound and my inbound link. What would happen if I were to purchase brianpate.net and just write an extensive biography of every little thing I've ever done, every award I've ever done in my career, and an FAQ page of what people ask about me? And I had a single page website that now, about the author, is a link outbound, if I choose for it to be, because I'm linking to another article or another blog entry from that primary blog post. You see how it works. That handshake is important. By the way, that's also why I told you to create a YouTube channel, because you can embed the videos on YouTube into your blog. Do you want to see what I'm talking about? Let me show it to you. So we're going to I'm going to open up a different window here. So this is my main page for my real estate company. See where it says blog at the top here? We're going to click on that. So here is Holly Forest Road. Now this is just the blog, so this is running through a lot of details and information, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the actual blog post. Notice up here at the top, this is just the home page of blog.paterealty.com. I'm going to click on this link, and now look at the difference in the URL up here at the top. 8133 Holly Forest Road, Wake Forest, North Carolina. I want that because when somebody Googles 8133 Holly Forest Road, in other words, they pull up in the car in front of my sign, I want them to see 8133 Holly Forest Road. You with me? Then we come down here. We have a quick summary of the property. Here's the YouTube video. I can play that within the system. Okay? When I embed the YouTube video, this is an outbound link. But because it's a YouTube video, do you think Google gives it a little bit more clout? What's the second largest search engine in the world after Google? YouTube. You're missing opportunities if you're not using YouTube. All right? We come down here, click for disclosures and details on this property. So if I click here, this is taking you to all of the floor plans, house plans for the addition, restrictive covenants, etc. This is my outbound link. Realtors, if you're not doing this, you're missing the opportunity, because now you can have, thanks for inquiring about my property at 8133 Holly Forest Road, Wake Forest. Please click here for all the details. It lands you on this page. And at the very bottom, notice here's my FAQ. We walk through this, and then look at what's on the bottom. I'm not allowed to put this information for the buyer's agent compensation in the MLS anymore due to a massive lawsuit a couple of years ago. So now I'm disclosing what I'm paying on my blog. Can the other agent that I've just sent this link to now just send it to their client? Because they've already got a buyer's agency agreement. I'm not stealing the client. I want to represent my sellers and my sellers only. If I didn't have the inbound links on the page, I would come down here at the bottom and say, learn more about Brian Pate. Okay? And then, of course, we always have it set so that you can view all of my posts. I can save this on Pinterest. I can automatically post it to X from the page itself. Folks, all of your social media pages, your websites, all of it is creating a tech stack for you that creates your online brand. And all that we're talking about in this 6 months of sessions is branding. What's your brand? Do you know? If you want to know what your branding is and how good it is, go to the local library get you a library card, and log into one of the library computers and go to Google and type in your name and your business, or your name or your company's name. You will see what the public sees when they do a Google search. Ultimately, that Google search that now has the AI summary at the top is where the money is made. Because if you're not found in that knowledge panel to the right, you don't exist. You have to meet people where they are. By the way, other than the $20 a month for OpenAI, how much have I made you spend for all of the stuff that we've done?
Zero.
Zero. Because your social media advertising is free. Your blog on your website, if you've already got the website, your blog is free. But yet most people don't use it in their business. One of the craziest things that I see is the number of small business owners that have a blog on their website with nothing on it. If it's driving you nuts trying to create information, you now have an easier way to do and create content by using artificial intelligence. So start by posting once a month until you get used to it, till you get more comfortable with it. Then post once a week. Once a week on a blog post gives you 52 posts a year. Folks, I got blogs scheduled out till the end of March or the end of May already on both of my websites, because I'm able to write them in a couple of minutes thanks to this system. What questions do you have?
Are the custom GPTs, are they always you press the button, or can they be scheduled to just go on their own?
Yeah, I don't like scheduling them to go on their own. Can you? Yes. Do I teach it? No. I want you to actually go in to remember how to use this, because the problem is if you completely automate it, when it upgrades to a new version, like if it goes from 5.2 thinking to 5.4 thinking, and you've got it programmed in as the 5.2, you're not using the latest version. So I feel like there's got to be some touch to it as a business owner, because ultimately if something goes wrong, you're responsible. So you have to know how to use it, you have to know how to get comfortable with it, you have to know how to fix it when it goes wrong. It's also the reason you should proofread every bit of output that comes out of it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I own a marketing firm, and I'm seeing a lot of kind of like people using AI for creativity and content creation.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that as marketers we're struggling to is that personalization aspect of it, right? So what do you see as far as results on not only personalizing your own kind of content that you're creating on it, but what results are you seeing from, like content that maybe you're not editing as much and content that you're putting more time in?
Great question. So his question is maintaining the personalization, and what's the difference between the artificial intelligence created material versus the personally created material. Am I restating that properly? Okay, so I think what a lot of people don't realize, even though people think that they can recognize artificial intelligence these days, I would challenge you that a lot of people don't. Let me show you. Rural America is mobilizing. Oh, I don't have my sound plugged in. Hold on a minute. Give me just a second. Let me find the. Where's my connector in here? There it is. I think that's it. Nope. That one. Where'd it go? It's this black one. There we go. See if it does that. Can you turn up the volume on that? Perfect. So, real or AI? Absolutely AI. Okay. Let's see. Where are my shorts that we created? How much will it cost you to prepare your home for sale? I can tell you that every house I walk in probably has $2,000 to $2,500 worth of work that can be done in the next 2 weeks to get your home maximized for the market. So that budgeting process. Real or AI? And you need to give yourself time.
real.
Most people don't give themselves enough time to prepare the home before they actually call us. This is, take us 2 weeks from the time when you're doing this, you can create a clone of yourself. And I will tell you, I spent almost 40 hours creating my AI clone and my AI voice so that I could do those types of videos. I'm still learning how. What you do is you start with a photograph of yourself, and then it uses the photograph in order to create the video. And it creates natural movements, and because I already move my arms a lot like this, it looks like me. If you've ever seen me teach in person or speak in person, you know that I couldn't speak without my arms. Now, for other people that are a little bit more mundane, that speak with their hands at their sides, all of a sudden seeing those arm movements is going to be a dead giveaway that it's AI. But because of my mannerisms, you're not able to tell. I would tell you that about half of these videos are artificial intelligence. That one's real, 992. That one's artificial intelligence. That one's artificial intelligence. Let's see. I'm trying to show you real world stats on this, by the way. What is your name, sir? David. David. So I'm trying to show you real world stats on this. So how many of you have done a podcast with Grant here at Workspace Provision? Folks, if you haven't done a podcast with Grant, he gives you the information. By the way, the best thing you can do for your business is to be a podcast guest. And he charges $250 for it. For $250, he's going to record you. You're going to be a guest on the podcast. He's going to give you some clips of it that you can use for Instagram, TikTok, etc. And for $250, you get tons of marketing material. That gives you credibility that you were a guest on a podcast.
And it goes up on our podcast website.
And it goes up on the Workspace Provision podcast. His name is
Grant Paxton.
Grant Paxton. He's literally through this door, around the corner, and to the left.
If you need connecting to him, let me know.
Yeah, Don will connect. Folks, look, some of the best money you can spend for $250 from your advertising budget. Sit down with this guy. He did 45 minutes with me. Let me see. I don't think I used it on YouTube, but I think I used it on Instagram. Let me check.
It's a Workspace podcast.
It's the Workspace. Here it is. So here's what he did with mine.
You told me something about this deal. You have this crazy story, and the numbers are kind of backwards. Listed at $425 and offer at $375, but counter at $470.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite stories I tell in my classes. So when I'm teaching real estate agents how to negotiate, I had a listing. It's a true story. The house is listed for $425.
Okay.
Buyer's agent calls me, says, "I'm bringing you an offer." All excited. This is a market when things are selling at or just barely below list price, less than 1% below list price at the time. So I was expecting an offer maybe $420, $422, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Offer comes in, it's $375,000. And I called the seller. Seller's first reaction, "Well, that's BS. I let him yell about it for a little bit. I got an idea. I don't know if it'll work, but are you willing to try something outside of the box?" And he says, "Well, what you got in mind?" And I told him. He says, "All right, let's go for it. Let's see what happens." So I texted the agent. I said, "I've got a counter offer for you." He says, "All right, I got a piece of paper. I'm ready." I said, "All right, your counter offer. Remember, list price is $425. He made an offer of $375." And I said, "The counter offer is $475,000." And there was this pause, and I hear the agent go, It sounded like a seal, clapping his hand. And he says, "You mean $375? I said, "No, I mean $475. He says, "The house is listed for $425. I said, "That's correct." He says, and you're countering at $50,000 above? And I said, that's correct. He says, that's insane. And I said, that's what the seller said about your buyer's offer when it came in. And all of a sudden, there was that recognition, and we ended up selling the house at $423,000 because, well, I basically told him, I said, when your guy gets serious, my guy gets serious. Speaking about deals. All right, so that video has 239 views on Instagram, and on my YouTube channel, it's got 700, or excuse me, on my TikTok channel, it's got 790 views. If I could get you almost 1,000 views on one Instagram reel, would you pay $250 for advertising?
Absolutely.
Folks, that's a minute and a half clip from a 45-minute conversation. All I had to do, by the way, when I emailed Grant, I said, can I give you the questions I want you to ask me? He says, absolutely. So I sent him 10 questions. I sent him 10 questions and said, this is what I want to talk about. I'll probably go back to him again and do another one because there was so much value in the first one. Being a podcast, listen to me, being a guest on a podcast is huge credibility, even if the podcast only has 20 followers. Because podcast followers have massive loyalty. How many of you have a podcast that you listen to regularly? Okay, most people do. Most people listen to podcasts instead of news anymore. They get their news and bullets and they get their detailed information from podcasts. So why not create that situation with the opportunity? So, David, I'm going to go back to what we were talking about with the artificial intelligence. So this is a recording. This is a recording. The idea of what you can do with, does this look familiar? You cannot replace. This is last month's class right here. I literally, okay, I'm going to give you my weapon of mass destruction. I'm going to give you two of them. You ready? This is a writer downer. You're going to want this. There is a software called YouTube Downloader. It is $55. With that YouTube Downloader, you simply put the link to the YouTube video you want to download, and it downloads it in HD.
It downloads it in what?
It downloads it in high definition. So $55 a year, YouTube Downloader. Then, if you want to, there's another AI software that I use. So what I did, I took what they had done with the recording from that hour and 30-minute class last month, and I uploaded it to Opus Clip, OPUSCLIP. I think it's opusclip.ai. Is that right, Cole? You use that. I think it's opusclip.ai. You can just Google Opus Clip. Get your membership. It's $140 a year, but you take the long form YouTube video, drop the link into Opus Clip, and it will give you 8 to 12 short clips that you can use like this. You with me?
So you don't have to do the editing.
Hell, do I look like a video editor to you? That's for young people like Cole in the back.
Yeah.
Remember that policy we talked about a couple months ago, know your role and shut your hole.
Yeah. And not only that, but you're going to waste time.
See, and it's simple. It's simple. And notice the graphics on here, how different the graphics are at this point. You know, it looks so different than just the photographs. This one right here, this was edited by Opus Clip. I'm a believer in the 100-hour rule. The 100-hour rule says that if you spend 100 hours in any given calendar year learning something new. By the way, I'm the guest on that guy's podcast for this. That are out there. And if you he sent me the whole YouTube recording. I cut it up. He says, how'd you do that? You're looking at about 17 to 18 minutes a day. I said, I put my editing team in charge of it. Little does he know, my editing team is a software that cost me $143 a year.
Opus Clip.
Opus Clip. It's the greatest thing in the world. And And by the way, you can do the same thing. The same videos that you upload to Instagram Reels, they go on your TikTok page. And I do want you to notice something. Do you notice that there are some personal posts on here too? Mm-hmm. You do not want your page to be all business. You want people want to see the human side of you. One of my favorite things that I do when I teach a class in a new area, I tell the story of why I moved to Raleigh on August 20th, 1989. Notice the details of the specifics so they know it's a true story. August 20th, 1989, I moved to Raleigh. I had been a radio and nightclub DJ for about 4 years at that point. And I lied to my parents and told them I got a job DJing in Raleigh. You know what I did? I took a job as a ring announcer with World Championship Wrestling. I was Ric Flair's announcer in the ring for 2.5 years. Did I just get your attention and made you chuckle? Because you look at me and go, him? But if I stand in front of a classroom and I go, this next match is one fall with a 10-minute time limit, you go, oh my God. And now everybody laughs. And then I add to it, because you have to have a tie down for people to really remember something. You have to have a hook. So everybody stand up for a second. I'm going to show you my trick. Stand up. So in honor of Mr. Flair, because he came out years ago and he would go, Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, lean, mean son of a gun, and I'm having a hard time holding down these gaiters. Talking about his cowboy boots. And he would finish with 2 claps and a Ric Flair. 2 claps and a Ric Flair goes like this. Woo! Do it with me. On the count of 3, 2 claps and a Ric Flair. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Do people remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Especially when I had a lady named Jean Smith years ago. I was at the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors, 250 people in the room for a class. Jean always sat right here, mainly because she couldn't hear because she was 83 years old. But in the middle of what I tell students, if I say something today that you like, give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair and do it out loud. Woo! With energy. And I'm about an hour into class, and I don't remember what I said, but out of the corner of my ear, I hear, woo. And it was Jean. See, storytelling is the personal side. Storytelling is the personal side. I always use my wife in some of my personal posts because I am the luckiest man on earth. I married a woman that loves baseball even more than me. We'll do over 100 baseball games in person this year. We're sponsoring the Miracle League in Franklin County. We're heavy into baseball because we believe it builds character for little boys to play baseball and little girls to play softball. So we're supporting our local programs with that. So you hear that story and you see a different side of Brian. I'm just thinking about, I have my annual physical today with my doctor. Yeah. He says as he drank Mountain Dew for breakfast. I have 2 stories about my doctor. These are storytelling is the key. In 2013, so just to give you an idea, I weigh about 235 pounds today. In 2013, I weighed 308 pounds. And I went to my doctor, and he looks at me, he says, Brian, I have good news and I have bad news. I said, all right, what's the good news? He says, you are your ideal weight. I kind of went, huh? He says, you ready for the bad news? I said, yeah. He says, if you were 7 feet 8 inches tall. Okay? And then I remember my doctor's appointment from just a couple years ago. My wife went with me. Doctor told me, like he does many people, you're overweight, Brian. You're borderline obese. So on my way home, I always call my mother because she always knows when I'm having my annual physical or when I have a doctor's appointment. She is a mother. She worries about me. I may be 56 years old, but she still treats me like I'm 5.6 years old. And I called my mom. I said, Mom, I got good news. She says, what? I said, the doctor told me today that I am a beast. And Kirk says, no, he didn't. He said he was obese. See, when you can make people laugh like that with your storytelling, and you can do the same thing on your social media. See, let me show you here. This is my smoking hot wife. She got to throw strikes at the event, at the baseball series that we went to. Watch what happens when she actually throws a strike and gets it in the catcher's glove. See? Just something that simple, and it's got 300 and something views. I mean, folks, pick up your phone and record things a couple of times a day. Everybody's so worried about looking. I don't look professional. I don't want you to look professional. The world wants to know you, not the BS you. The worst thing in the real estate business is these agents that sit here with their phone. I want to thank all of my past clients for my new BMW. Stop. Isn't that ick? How many of you have ever seen a doctor sitting at the end of a surgery going, just did another one? But yet, real estate agents get away with it all the time. Folks, you can have fun with it. Go to your favorite restaurant. Take a 2-second videos of you walking in the door. You're walking up to the restaurant. That's one 2-second video. Next 2-second video is the experience as soon as you walk inside that door. The third 2-second video is a pan from left to right across the room. Third 2-second video is you holding the menu or it's sitting on the table in front of you. Fourth one is the 2 seconds of your meal when it arrives. And the last 2-second video is a selfie of you walking out the door. You now have a 20-second video.
Complete.
You tag the restaurant in your video and you post it. How easy is that? But yet I sit here with people all the time going, Brian, I don't like the way I look. And I don't like the way I sound on video. And I go, well, I got some bad news for you then. Because that's how you look to us and that's how you sound. We let things get in the way of us with our advertising and marketing, folks. We spend so much time worrying about, does that make the brand look professional? Well, you know what? If you're too buttoned up, people don't want to work with you. They want to have fun when they work. You guys that have come here, have you had fun in the classes when you've been here?
Definitely.
Have we had a good time? I mean, bottom line, if you're going to take an hour of your time at $200 an hour, I want to give you a good time, and I want to make sure that didn't sound right. I want you to have fun at the class, and I want you to walk away with something of value. You should be thinking about the same thing in every meeting that you have. And yet there are people out there that say, I'm just going to wing this meeting. You just cost yourself thousands of dollars. Because that one person that was dissatisfied with your preparation is going and telling everybody they can on social media. I tried to use that guy and he was terrible. That kills everything you've worked on for 2 years if you're not careful. Everybody cool? Is there anything that we've covered in the last 6 months or anything that I haven't covered that you want to ask me about? I think I got a few more minutes. I don't know what time is it?
You got 5 minutes.
I got 5 minutes? All right. Is there anything that anybody wants to ask about? Any more in depth? Any for you stuff? Talk to me. Yes, sir. David.
Yeah, so for someone that recently just got into business, I'm starting to kind of find out like everything is heading more towards digital, right?
Yes.
There's still kind of like that physical, like face-to-face aspect to it, especially when it comes to customers. So how, in your experience, like have you seen this is how I'm known in my community, in my area, and how do you balance that as a business owner?
Okay, so his question is, how do we get the public view and where's the balance between business, social, and how much I put myself out there with branding? Okay, and you may want to write this down. This is Branding 101 from Brian. Anybody remember the conversation about reach and frequency with advertising? Reach is how many people do you reach with a single ad. Frequency is the reason that you know Budweiser is the king of beers. Budweiser doesn't buy a Super Bowl commercial because they want you to know they sell beer. They buy a Super Bowl commercial so you know they're the king of beers and that they have the Clydesdales. Make sense? Here's how it works. Be kind. Be fun to be around. If you're a person that brightens up the room by walking out of it, you need to get better. Think about it. And then the biggest mistake people make, David, when they're building their business is they walk into a room with an opportunity to network and they go stand beside the same people that they've been hanging out with for years rather than going to meet new people. Every business card that you get goes into your consumer database. You can communicate with them at least once a month. Every person in your database should hear from you once a month. That's what the newsletter is for. You realize, by the way, that all of that information that we did the blog for with the news earlier can also just put this in newsletter format for an email. And it's going to set it up and get it ready for you, and you copy and paste and you're ready. It's that little touch that you do on a regular basis, but then you pick up the phone once in a while and you actually call somebody. Hey, how you doing? You got time for a cup of coffee? Who wants to meet me at Grub for lunch? Anybody else notice that sweet aroma when you were walking up here?
If he wants that coupon, let me know.
Oh, Donna's got a coupon.
That should be a law against that.
Oh, I love against the coupon? Or against the aroma? See, I don't consider that a smell. I consider it an aroma. See, the words we use the words we use matter. Anybody remember when George W. Bush was standing on the aircraft carrier and he says, "We used a very particular strategery to win this war." Strategery is not a word. The word is strategy. Folks, look, it's real. The business is really simple. In baseball, we say you throw the ball, you catch the ball, you hit the ball. In business, you meet people, you get to know them better, and you ask for business. If you're a marketing guy, and you can master all of this for people. See, I don't have the time to do this for people because it would cost them $5,000 a month for me to do this. Exactly. So if you can do all of this for people and you can do it for $1,000 a month with our gold package and $1,500 a month for our platinum package and $2,000 a month for our super duper sphincter gripper package, then all of a sudden you got the ability to sell something. See, I would tell you, many of you already have your perfection together. You just don't have it organized. Let me tell you what I mean. If I'm standing in my kitchen and I have 2 burger patties, I have a piece of lettuce, I have a bottle of ketchup here, I got some mustard, I got some onions, I got a bun. That's the same ingredients that McDonald's has. But what did they do with it? They put it together and they sell it to you as the Big Mac. When you're selling things, folks, you have to put things together into a package. And you demonstrate that package to people when they meet with you face to face. And you talk about the pieces of that package online constantly. That's where most business owners fail. They're either very good at the business side or they're very good at doing what they started their business for. Where they don't accelerate David may be the best in the world at marketing, but if he doesn't know how to read his P&L statement and he spends more than he makes, he's going to be bankrupt in chapter 12 by the end of December. Because see, although we sit here and say, well, Jamie's a financial analyst. No, he's not. He's a business owner. Kim's an insurance broker. No, she's not. She's a business owner. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. But most of us are just trying to get by. I'm going to tell you the worst secret about starting a new business. There's no such thing as work-life balance for 3 years. And you need to prep your family for that. You need to have conversations with your loved ones and say, look, if you want to live in a nice house in the right part of town and you want our kids to go to school and we want to be able to take trips and stuff like that, there are going to be nights that I don't make it home for dinner. And it will be more that I don't make it home for dinner than I do. That's the way of the world.
That's the way of your business, too.
Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. But there's this, what you have to understand is that's necessary to build your business. Once you get it built, you should be scaling it so that you don't have to do that. Folks, this is where AI has changed my life. All of those custom GPTs on the left side, I refer to them as my AI employees. Those AI employees save me about 1,500 hours a year. Let me put that in perspective for you. A full-time job, you will spend at 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year with 2 weeks vacation, you have 2,000 hours a year. And I'm saving 1,500 with these AI employees. That gives me the opportunity to teach other people about how to be efficient and how to use them and still run my business. So the 1,500 hours that the custom GPTs and the AI employees save me, that's saving me in my real estate business. So my 2,000 hours a year to make the same amount of money is now only 500 hours a year. And now I can go spend another 20 hours every week designing classes, speaking in public, talking to agents, coaching, consulting for small businesses, all those other things that I love to do. I'm very fortunate. I got 2 jobs that I absolutely love. I'm list and sell real estate, and I teach, coach, and train real estate. Those are my 2 jobs. They're not my life. My life is at home with my family. That's where the balance comes in. That's ultimately what you have to learn. How to scale your business so that you don't have to be there 24/7. Because if you create a business where you have to be there 24/7,
You don't have a life.
you're going to die early. Because every business is stressful no matter what it is. When you got month left at the end of the money, it's a pressure cooker and it gets hotter and hotter and hotter the longer it goes. And I don't mind sharing this. In the month of February, I went on 4 listing presentations in a row and didn't get any of them. I haven't had that happen in 15 years. Did that make me stop going on listing presentations? No, I doubled down to get more. Make sense? Because you're going to have ups and downs with your business. The whole purpose of these classes is to try to save you time, because ultimately I want you to make more money and I want you to spend more time at home with your family or doing whatever it is that you want to do with any free time that you have.
Travel.
Absolutely. I hope you've had fun in the courses, folks. This is our final one. So if I can ever help, for those of you that wanted to take the AI boot camp and didn't get into it, we've got another one that's starting April 13th. It's all done via Zoom and that's recorded. You can go to brianpateseminars.com and click on that. I can tell you there will be a buttload of real estate agents in there, but the concepts are the same for small business owners. David, you might want to take that just to meet some other agents, because real estate agents are a good source for marketing, because real estate agents probably spend 20% of their income on marketing and stuff like that. So, yes, ma'am.
What was the GPT you made to analyze your business? What was that called?
The GPT that I made to analyze my business, it was a SWOT analysis, SWOT. So all you have to do is tell it to do a SWOT analysis on your business, and then you have to make sure that you give it everything that it needs. Website, Facebook page, Facebook business page, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere where you're controlling your message, you want it to do that so that it helps you with the SWOT analysis.
Wasn't that in Claude?
You can do it in Claude or you can do it in OpenAI. Claude's getting a little bit more complicated, and I'm finding that the average user is not as comfortable with Claude. There's a reason ChatGPT has 1.4 billion daily users. So, all right, thank you, folks. Hey, big round of applause for Donna for providing the room for us, and for these guys doing the video recording. All of these are available on the Workspace Provision YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to that, please go ahead and do that. And keep an eye out for the blog or for the podcast from Grant on Spotify and all the other major podcast locations. And if you do want to get on the podcast, see Donna after we're finished so that you can schedule a time with Grant and get that done. Because like I said, that is an awesome piece of marketing and advertising for you.